India is staring down a mineral crunch thanks to China tightening the screws on critical supplies. Prime Minister Modi's recent trip to Argentina was a calculated move. This is a signal that India is ready to accept the challenge. China is not known to play nice for long with us. Naturally, India is also cozying up to Australia. Then there is Africa, which is on the radar too. A strong mineral game is going to challenge China's dominance. Jai Guruji, welcome to Heartland Ari. India is staring down a mineral crunch thanks to China tightening the screws on critical supplies like lithium, like rare earth elements, and so on. With Beijing, that is controlling about 90% of the REE, which is the rare earth element, REE refining and executing a chokehold on India's imports. Prime Minister Modi's recent trip to Argentina, like most other tours of his, was a calculated move. In locking lithium deals with Argentina, this is a signal that India is ready to accept the challenge. And this video is going to give you a realistic overview on how India can secure its mineral future and why nailing this could give us some serious geopolitical muscle in logistics, production, and energy independence. So stay till the end and please like, share, and subscribe the video. Now we come to the China problem. China is not known to play nice for long with us. Naturally, since April 2025, Beijing slapped export controls on REE with an intent to hit India along the EVs, along the solar panels, and along defense gears. Now, this is not just about market dynamics. It is a clear sign of Beijing flexing its muscles, which it does, especially with India, every now and then. We all know that. We all have remained witness to that. Incidentally, after Bangladesh, India has been caught flat-footed here as well. New Delhi imports over 500,000 tons of REE magnets annually, mostly from China. The domestic lithium deposit in Jammu and Kashmir is stuck due to technological gaps, and only 48% of the mineral blocks auctioned between 2020 and 2023 have found takers. So India is in a fix. What is the way out? There are three elements here, and I am trying to present them to the best of my ability. Number one is focus on domestic front. India is betting big on its backyard. The recently launched National Critical Mineral Mission, NCMM, is the cornerstone for that. It aims to ramp up exploration, mining, processing, and recycling of lithium, cobalt, REE, and more. But is it going to be all smooth sailing? Well, let's say probably not. Domestic lithium extraction has stalled because India lacks the technology to process clay-based deposits. The REE production is just 2,900 tons a year, while imports are huge. The 2023 Mines and Minerals Act tried to open the doors to private players, but the outdated geological data and high risks mean foreign firms are not showing too much of an active interest. There has been little progress thus. The only good news is that a couple of private players like Stona Comstars, Vedanta, and Hindustan Zinc are interested because they are being driven by EV and defense demands. That aside, a 3,500 to 5,000 crore rupees production linked incentive PLI scheme for magnet production is in the works. Then the GSI, the Geological Survey of India, is also poking around for new deposit. If India can crack the tech bottleneck and the auction bottleneck, it has got a fair chance of turning all this mineral wealth into industrial muscle. Number two, India has to go global. Other than efforts to secure the domestic front, PM Modi's Argentina trip sends a very strong signal. The January 2024 deal between khanijbideshindialtd, kabil, and Argentina's Camyen obtained 5 lithium blocks in Catamarca province. India is also cozying up to Australia. with 2022 MOU for lithium and cobalt exploration and a research partnership through 2026. Then there is Africa, which is on the radar too, with rare earth prospects in Ghana. The Quad and Mineral Security Partnership (MSP) could also be India's ticket to global mineral clubs, offering access to resource and technology. These moves are not just about securing supplies. These are about strategic networking to counter China and position India as a player in the Indo-Pacific. The third element is an interesting element, which is recycling, turning your trash into your treasure. So India is not just digging for minerals, it is trying to recycle as well. Urban mining for cobalt, nickel and REE is gaining traction. The e-waste management rules, which was in 2016, actually set the stage. Okay, the CSIR is even tinkering with sodium-ion batteries to dodge lithium dependency. If India manages to nail this the circular economy, we would not just be cutting imports, but we could show others that we are serious about sustainability. And that would be a nice bit of soft power to flaunt at the climate summits. Now let's look at the advantages. If we manage to pull this off, not perfectly, not 100%, but well enough, not even optimally, not even 80%, even if we manage to pull some of it off, then there are some great advantages. Number one is logistics leverage. By diversifying away from China through deals like Argentina, etc., India can dodge a blackmailing China. Then once we build our domestic processing, we can turn into a supply chain hub, actually, attracting global manufacturers. We can have EV and solar farms setting up shop here, drawn by our mineral pipeline. Strategic stockpiles modeled on China's REE reserves would provide us buffer against disruptions. And that, interestingly, would enable us to negotiate a decent deal with energy-hungry countries like Japan or like Germany and so on and so forth. Point number two in advantage is production power. Once we are set, a steady mineral flow could fuel our own EV and renewable sectors. With lithium and cobalt secured, companies like Bajaj, companies like Maruti Suzuki, they can churn out EVs without having to beg in front of China for magnets. Then the domestic RE market, domestic RE magnet production could strengthen defense manufacturing, reducing reliance on foreign suppliers. So it turns out that this is not just about self-reliance, it could also be about exporting to ASEAN, to Africa, turning India into a regional industrial powerhouse. Plus, a robust mineral ecosystem lures FDI, foreign direct investment, bringing in tech transfers, bringing in trade leverages. The final advantage that comes to the mind is energy independence. Secure lithium, secure nickel, which means more batteries for EVs and renewables. That is going to help India hit its 500 gigawatt non-fossil fuel energy goal, which is there, which India is supposed to achieve by 2030. Now, there's another interesting angle. If this actually materializes, then less oil and gas imports, which means less dependence on Middle East and their multiple centuries old sectarian tantrums which has been going on, which refuses to end. All that aside, a prominent role in recycling and green tech like sodium-ion batteries could boost India's credibility in climate-vulnerable region, letting it play a crucial role in smaller nations through tech exports. And finally, here is the geopolitical sixer. Been thinking about it. A strong mineral game is going to challenge China's dominance. I am not saying that then India is naturally going to ally with the US and Japan and the West and so on. No, because guys, I am all for an Asian integration. But yes, optimized properly, India could supply minerals to the West and create some amount of strategic leverage and force them to open doors for military and tech cooperation, whatever India requires. Because then you're getting to become a substitute for China, an answer to China's dominance. So with an increased influence in G20, India could then have a role to play in shaping the global trade rules. And by leading in sustainable mining, we can actually wave that rainbow flag. Sorry, rainbow to nahi, green flag. We can wave that green flag that the liberal lobby loves, and thus win hearts of the ESG and DEI crazed, ignorant European ruling elites. Don't laugh. Okay, They still have very deep pockets. They are very, very rich. India needs that money. And it would make sense for India to remain tech invested in Africa. For real, actually. For EU, it has to be more of a pomp and show. So, at this point in time, I'm sure you must be wondering, what is the catch? The catch is that this is definitely not going to be an easy task. We must move fast, which there is a serious concern about because we lack speed. Speed in itself is a massive challenge because we have the very famous Indian bureaucracy. Then there is the very real issue of technological gaps that could slow us down further. Then there is the very real issue of competition. Australia and Canada are going to be tough competitors in this particular game that we are talking about. Then there is going to be a real competition. China enjoys a cost advantage. That is not something that is going to disappear overnight. And you have to keep in mind that REE mining is an environmental challenge. It's an extremely touchy topic. And this needs so-called green solutions to avoid local protests and toolkit gangs and Mia Khalifas and Rihannas and Gretas all over us. So these are the challenges. However, India has been presented with a challenge that hides a massive opportunity. This mineral hustle that Mr. Modi has rightly initiated is a move to break free from China's grip by doubling down on domestic mining, focusing on global partnership, getting the recycling deal, getting the recycling deal successful. We could not just secure lithium and REEs, but we can also carve out a seat at the geopolitical big table as far as energy resources are concerned. If successful, it would mean a resilient supply chain that not only remains oblivious and least bothered about Beijing, but also the development of an industrial base that pumps out EV and defense gear, and an energy future that can balance the OPEC whims. So, as I said, we don't need to then depend too much on the Gulf region and their tantrums. With a bit of luck and a lot of sweat, a lot of determination, a lot of hustle, we could turn this mineral dream into a geopolitical flex. Prove in front of the world, prove to the world that we are not just a player but a power. So, Mr. Modi has done his bit. What remains to be seen is if the bureaucracy can deliver. That is the bigger challenge, going by our tradition. That's all for today, folks. Stay sharp, and I'll see you soon. Jai Guru.